Oh, yeah, here we go. What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, Talk About Gay Sex, the live version every Wednesday night on the Get Vocal platform. We are a part of the Connection Zone. So happy to be a part of this. Happy 2021. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Mr. Smiley over there, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How you doing?
I'm good. Hello, darling. How are you? It's our first show of 2021. Can you believe it? So much to talk about.
So much to talk about. And, we did a really good job of ringing in the new year, I have to say. A friend to the show and people that listen to our Tags podcast on Tuesdays get to hear our intro song by DJ Laurent. True facts. And we spent it with DJ Laurent as he did a Twitch. I think we previewed it the last time we were here and promoted it. And I helped him film the green screen edit of it. And it was a lot of fun helping him prepare for that. And we ended up going over to Hoboken, Kodi and I, where DJ Laurent was putting forth that DJ set, put out a spread for us that was really...
No, it was so good.
It was really good, yeah. How much fun did we have, just like the three of us?
So much fun. We giggled, we laughed, we drank.
Did an edible.
Uh-oh. You're telling all the secrets.
It was fun. It was fun. It was interesting because years ago I would go to big parties. Then I started to just go to my friends, one of my best friends in LA alongside my sister. And he has this beautiful house in LA that Kodi, because you've been to it. I think one of our friends listening, watching right now has been to that house. His tan lines have been there at least. And for the last several years, I've kind of rung in the new year with some close friends, and it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, we weren't able to do that this year. And it wasn't as bad. I mean, I feel through it, and I feel like it's always this big production, but I enjoyed spending it with you. I had a lot of fun, but I felt like, all right, let's move on. It's kind of, let's get this year going.
Let's 2021 rolling. Exactly.
Let's get vaccinated. Let me turn 50, which I'm coming up. Which, by the way, my 50th birthday is next Tuesday, January 12th, and we are putting together a brand new episode of some of my favorite people and actually friends of the show that I'm infiltrating into this one beautiful bursting episode that I cannot wait to share with you.
Happy birthday, boo. It's going to be so good. Early birthday.
I'm embracing it. And at the very end of this episode, I sadistically asked my co-hosts, including Kodi over here, to roast me. And the only one that really stepped up to the plate was Kodi over here.
Imagine that, right?
A little bit too much fun, but it was all awesome, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
I mean, at least one of us had to get. I mean, like everybody else did their thing; they did a great job. But I went pretty hard, and I don't feel bad for it. Honestly, I love you, and you know that, so that's all that matters.
I love it. So stay tuned for that. It's next Tuesday, January 12th, the TAGSPodcast, my 50th birthday episode. So much to talk about in this episode. We're going to talk about what happened today in DC because we're actually foregoing some topics that we were going to go because they just didn't seem right. And we know we're a podcast on gay sexuality, but our sexuality mixes into kind of what went on. I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But a little bit later in the show on our virtual voices, Kodi's going to be talking about his life coaching and how if you're looking to redirect or change the way your life is going professionally, romantically, he's got you. And I cannot wait to hear from him. And then later in the show, we've got Unleashfit fitness guru, the lion himself, my former trainer, Alejandro Terrazas, who's going to be answering all your fitness questions on changing redefining your body, fitness goals, making sense of all that for the long haul, not just for like the now. And I can't wait to get him on the show. So a lot to talk about on this show. But today was an interesting day, Kodi. And when I woke up, when I went to bed last night, I was looking at the re-election process of the Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going back and forth between the Republican candidates and in Atlanta, and excuse me, almost dropped my computer, and the Democratic. And right before I went to bed, it really kind of was looking like the Republican candidates were in the lead. And we talk about this on
what time did you go to sleep?
I forget, it was like midnight or so. It was
all right. Yeah.
It was a little bit on the earlier side. And one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about that and why I thought this morning, so I wake up to John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock ahead. Raphael won, and
Raphael got declared last night. Yeah, I was up until like 6.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. Right and true.
I was like, what is going on?
And I say this to talk about this before we get into what occurred a little bit later. It's sad because their election wins were overshadowed by ultimately what went on. But it's important for us to talk about these wins because so much of our LGBTQ plus life is on the Senate. In other words, yes, we got Joe Biden into office, but so many of what ultimately, we have no idea what the Trump administration overturned that law-wise that has to do with our LGBTQ rights.
Yes.
And things that oftentimes we don't hear about. These things happen in the Senate and the House of Representatives, and it makes a difference if we have a majority in there that is looking out for our common good, that extends out to all of us, which include us LGBTQ plus people. And to wake up to that I was so elated. It was going to be a great day.
It was a good feeling.
And it's sad because it was overshadowed by ultimately what went on by the guy in the White House who he cannot go away soon enough. He is like milking this like a really bad play, tragic play, that they're going to do tragic plays about this someday later, hopefully a little more poetically than it went down. And we had to see our democracy ruined, and he literally, in my opinion, incited his base to go. He literally said, I was talking to my mom and a lot of other people, he told his base, march over to the Capitol. And albeit he didn't say break windows and, scare people and do all that they did, that's I'm sure everybody knows by now, but he incited this. This is all on him. And I can't help but thinking, I always knew, let him be president. Fine. We are so divided. It's not going to end well. But I don't think I realized it was going to go this low.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you heard about what went on today?
Well, just like you, I checked the Senate race results earlier today and everything was looking good. I talked to Jen and Silas and Quinessa and all those, my lovely friends, and they were declaring Ossoff the winner. And I was like, he's not the winner yet. Let's just calm down. I don't like to count my chickens before they're hatched. But as soon as he won, it was a good feeling. Or as soon as he was declared the winner, it was a good feeling. And then the shit hit the fan. Do you have me in post? Because I might be cursing a lot during this segment.
No worries. I think we're okay. Go ahead. It's that kind of day. Nothing could escalate what happened earlier. I think you're okay.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, this is like a tragedy and a stain on the democratic process in the United States, mainly because, yes, people attack the Senate and that hasn't happened. It's always been a peaceful transfer of power since the inception of our country. But that's why it's sustained. But it's also because people are reluctant. I'm going to say they are reluctant to call it exactly what it is, like a terrorist attack. It's actually a terrorist attack. And for me, it's another example of white privilege. And it's crazy because my Twitter lit up with all the blatant discrepancies and biases on how it is handled versus the Black Lives Matter protests. And I'm not going to really go into all of that. I'm just going to, because you are an adult and you should be able to go and look that up for yourself.
Thank you.
So I say
domestic
terrorism.
Thank you, Silas. And so you're actually correct.
Yes.
But it's domestic, and that
Yes.
happens often. We think of 9/11 and we think of, international and all that, but domestic terrorism is a real thing. So you were correct, but go ahead.
So I'm just going to say, for people that say, I'm going to provide a counterpoint for the people that say, why does race, or why are you comparing it to Black Lives Matter? Why are you comparing it to that in this instance? And I'm going to say to them, because as a Black man, that's what immediately comes to my mind. And for you to be able to overlook that is a form of privilege. So what were you going to say?
Well, just real quick to add to your point, one of the messaging points that I was talking about was, remember this, I think it was summertime when Black Lives Matter, they marched to almost the similar area.
Yeah.
And
the National Guard was there.
Tear gas was being expelled.
Exactly.
And actually it was more peaceful than not.
Exactly.
And it was actually
nobody got into the Senate building.
Trump, and with the damn Bible thing, was running over there to so what went through my head as I was watching it in real time is like, wow, when it doesn't benefit you, how quick they were to employ the National Guard, the tear gas, to run to that church next door. And it seemed like hours before any police enforcement made their way over. And I felt like they were like finishing a donut and like, oh yeah, I think we got a call. Something's happened over at the Capitol. Something's happening.
Wait, what?
They're breaking in, literally breaking in, and they were told by their cult leader to go over there and do that.
Yeah, it's true. So,
and the dichotomy of the two side by side, you couldn't have, if you were to put that, history books will be written about this irony.
It's so blatant. It's ridiculous. And I can't, me as a Black man, as a Black person, I can't overlook that. That's a luxury that I'm not afforded in this country.
Thank you. And anybody that is just aware, even as a brown person or anybody, a woman, or I think we all speak to that. It was something I thought of immediately. And I'm not Black, but I think we all can relate to it. And it's not right. And it was gross. And we could go on and on. Are there any comments that you want to read?
Go on and on. Silas said you read that already. Domestic terrorism. I'm just going through the comments.
Okay, I'm pouring a cocktail.
Jen says in 1814, during the War of 1812, I guess they got into the Senate building. People, rioters, looters, however you want to call them. Oh, they call themselves revolutionaries. So there was, I saw on
but
Twitter,
not like this. I don't think
not like this. They say Jen says they burned the building. Yeah, this is way worse.
Okay, either way, it doesn't. Yeah. And we need those facts a little bit more. But anyways, we've got to move on, though, Kodi. I'm going to cut you off because we've got a show to run here.
Let's go.
Let's go. One of the things in 2021, this is our first episode back of Tags Live. And I know I was talking to a friend of mine, friend of the show, Sebastian Lacaze, about the other day, about how, we're a show, talk about gay sex, but it's really our gay sexuality. And that's why we talked about the Senate and going on today, because it does affect our LGBTQ rights. But one of the things to be able to have good sex, healthy sex, to have sex at all, and you need to have your life in order. And it's always good to reset. I couldn't think of a better time after a pandemic at the beginning of this year to reset with life coaching. And Kodi is a life coach, and I couldn't think of a better time.
Coach.
Yeah. So tell us, what is life coaching, what you do, and lead the way, boy.
All right. So when 2021 begins, of course, it's a sign for everybody as far as change and growth is concerned. And it's a good time to set goals for the year and just life in general, I feel like. And who better to help you with that than a life coach? So basically, life coaching is not therapy. And the basic difference of that is that life coaches look towards the future and plan for the future, while therapy kind of unpacks the past and looks to help you heal. That's one of the main differences between the two. Also, as far as consultancy is concerned, consultants tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and they basically are there to guide you. As a life coach, I'm not there to tell you what to do. I believe in the power of possibility in yourself, and that you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it yourself, and you have everything that you need in order to accomplish all of your goals.
I love that last part, because I can tell you what to do in a hot second, but doesn't mean you're going to do it.
Exactly.
You're going to pull out the things in me.
Exactly. That's a good point. If I tell you what to do, you're not going to listen to me, basically. Like, how far is that going to take you? If you come up with the answers yourself, then that can take you, you're more likely to follow.
And it sounds like you help us, give us the tools to.
Exactly. So what I would do is we would develop a plan together, and then I would keep you accountable. That's the main thing. As far as the life coach is concerned, we make sure that you're staying on what you said, what you told yourself that you were going to do, basically.
You know, one of the things when I had a life coach that I learned is, do you help us come up with daily goals and maybe systematic ways? Because I think a lot of us feel daunted by it. Yes, we have that goal. We want to be here. We want to do that. But the day it's 6 o'clock and it's like, shit, I didn't really do anything. Do you help us like kind of come up with a plan on what may work for somebody that gets up early versus somebody that gets up late? And
yeah, we work that out together. We also work out what resources you have in order to accomplish your goals, because you have all the people that you need to know, basically. Because you know a lot of people, of course, but as far as like 6 degrees of separation, you can get to the people that you need to get to in order to accomplish your goals. So yeah, so I am an instrument in facilitating that.
What if somebody has large goals that, like, I want to be on TV? Do you help them pare it down, or do you judge like that is too lofty of a goal? I want to see, because I know, Kodi, you also, in addition to career and just life in general, you do relationships too. So what if I want to be married to Rocco Steele to get that dick every night?
You know what?
Is that a realistic goal that you and I hire you? Are you going to get that?
As a life coach, I don't promise you anything as a life coach, but I believe in possibility.
I believe
you. Oh, well, I almost quoted R. Kelly, and he is definitely canceled.
Yeah, right. Oh, let's leave her. Not in 2020 and 20.
No. He's back in 2006 or something like that.
In jail. Yeah. Let's just leave her behind. Sorry. Refocus.
Yes, refocus. So, yeah, I would basically, if you were looking to get together with Rocco Steele, that was one of your goals, then we would try and plan out how you could accomplish that goal.
A scheme.
I'm trying to think in my head how I would go about.
Okay, Lucy.
I'm Ethel. You're Lucy, because you're the one that
Lucy. I love it.
Oh man. Are there any other goals that you would like to accomplish in 2021?
So one, to use an example, as we know, one cool thing about this particular year in April, actually February, will be our 4th anniversary of having this show, TAGSPodcast, when we initially, and we're doing so well, and I love the show, and we keep reincarnating and doing well. Well, a year ago, we shot the TV pilot version of it, shot it, it's already in the can, had it edited by a professional editor, and even created sort of like a sizzle reel. So one of our goals this year is to hit the ground running with reaching out to those platforms that could ultimately broadcast it. And that's a little daunting because now it's shifting the creative to the, reaching out like, please like me and please, and so is that something, what would be your thoughts on that?
So basically I would ask you questions, and in order for you to determine what your actual goal is and how to approach it, and actually get to the root of what the end game is as far as what you're asking me and what you're looking for. And then we would talk about what your motivation is, because motivation is really key to getting in touch with going for your goals. And you may cry, and that's okay, because feelings are good. But then we would decide the best course of action for those goals. And again, whatever resources you have in place to reach your goals. And basically, most importantly, like I said earlier, keeping you accountable for what you say that it is that you're going to do.
I love it. It sounds like creating a structure and a plan
and accountability.
And accountability. I love that word.
A lot of people are lacking that in their lives, basically.
One thing that comes to mind in talking about all this is you can produce and create a lot, but ultimately you have to believe in yourself that you deserve this. And I think, do you find that sometimes often in your clients, you talk a lot about you are worthy of this goal, you are, and often the conversation goes towards the worthiness of actually believing that you can, you have just as much right as Kamala Harris to be vice president or anybody else. That's often there's blockages to that thinking that, do I really deserve this?
Yeah, 100%. Self-worth is a huge part of why people do not go towards their goals, whether it be in a relationship, which is something that I'm actually I've done a lot of career coaching with artists, with writers, with lawyers, with engineers, what have you. But I'm really looking to get into relationship coaching and sex coaching. Why not?
How to get that big dick of Rocco Steel. I want that big dick of Rocco Steel, Kodi. How do I get it?
We working on a plan. Call me up. I got you.
It could be like somebody that's like him and has the same size and girth. I don't really need his face.
You know what? I already got a plan. So pay me my money, and then I just came up with it in my mind. Oh man, that's funny.
Love it. Okay, so real quick, we should just tell people what one of the things I love about this pandemic, that one of the silver linings is, and even before when I had my life coach, I met my life coach back in the day in LA when I was visiting there, and ultimately he said, "Don't worry, we can do this all via calls." Are you finding that?
Yeah.
And is that a blessing? Because you can take, do what you
it's
do.
So good. I don't have to do my hair.
What hair? But yeah.
It's up here, honey. I'm holding on to the last strands.
But I love that aspect of your profession. Even one of our sex and relationship gurus, Finn Deerhart, who we've had on the show several times, does so many seminars, and for so long was so just locally based in San Francisco, and has found that through this virtual, he can take clients and instruct couples and people all around the world. And that's really exciting, I think.
Yeah.
We'll talk to our trainer, Alejandro, in a minute, and how it's shifted his career and coaching.
Nice. So I've actually done some relationship coaching. One person in particular really got me excited about relationship coaching because I was able to go really, really deep and dig in about what it was to him that I don't want to reveal too much, but what it was that affected him so much about this relationship and what in this relationship and how to address it in future relationships. And it was an amazing session. I could not express enough how fulfilling it was to actually have this conversation with him. So that's all I'm looking to do is
sounds orgasmic. I love
it. Did I make it sound orgasmic?
You did. For the people that just listening and maybe don't have an idea of where they want to go, a couple tips on in our last few minutes of how do you find out about what you even want?
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I'm trying to repeat that question. Somebody said something in the comments.
Go read the comments first.
The comment says, you don't give me any relationship advice. And I'm wondering who it is. It just says user there. So I'm like, who don't I give advice to?
I can't.
I got to. Oh, it's Ashley. Oh, hi, Ashley. I give you all the relationship advice.
Girl,
everybody. Let's just all know that I give Ashley all the relationship advice. She tells me not to give her relationship advice,
and she's still single, so not doing very well on that.
You know what though? Because she doesn't follow my advice,
and she doesn't pay the tab. So
and
girl,
she doesn't pay.
He is not for free. But real quick, is there any tips you can give us before we can tell people how to find you and that? And you got like 2 minutes, so go.
So my tips are get in touch with what you really want and get accountability. Accountability, I can't stress it enough. That's the most important thing, because if you're not accountable to anyone, if it's just you trying to keep yourself accountable, 8 times out of 10, you're going to let it slide by the wayside. Because a lot of people put the emphasis on other people as what's important, and they don't give enough import to themselves, which I think is a shame.
And Kodi, it sounds like even if you are lost, you can actually help pull a lot of that in the initial meetings of what it is you are seeking and trying to work on, correct?
Oh, yes. That is in the introductory session. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Pull it out. All right.
After you pull it in, pull it out, right?
How can people follow you or find out more information about your services?
What services are we? No, okay, all right. That was
so rentmen.
I couldn't help myself. I have to be serious. This is a serious topic. I'm trying to get high.
Go to Kodi's OnlyFans page, and he gives plenty of tips and advice on how to spread your mind.
All the tips.
And reach a high octave.
Oh, man. Okay, so KMD Coaching on Instagram. Also, I just bought the domain for kmdcoaching.net. So you can reach me at Kodi@kmdcoaching.net. Email me. I'll get back to you. We'll get an introductory session set up, and I'll be like Iyanla to you. I'll be your Iyanla Vincent, basically.
Oh, I love her. And obviously, you can follow him on his Instagram. And we list everything on Tags Podcast. So I will list all this information on TAGSPodcast.com, which you should be checking out. Well, we couldn't think of you're welcome, of course. We couldn't think of a better time to bring on a fitness expert. Go ahead and grab a spot. I know you're chomping at the bit to come in here. My former personal trainer, Alejandro Terrazas, is in the house in a tank top. Is that a Yeti microphone?
I do.
Here we go.
Not the sexy voice. Yes.
I cannot believe you have the Yeti mic.
Well, I mean, I do also do my podcast. So.
Oh, that's right, which we will promote and talk about. So you are my former trainer, but you have Unleashfit, and experienced trainer, life coach, and everything. But I have to ask you really quickly, what has the pandemic done for you? Because you were so used to going to clients, and how did you pivot, shift your work?
Well, I mean, it was a huge change, I would say, probably because training requires kind of like being there, guiding the client, telling them, like cueing them, showing them exercises, motivating them. It's really hard to kind of like be on a FaceTime or on call and kind of like motivating them to do that. I think that was like a challenge that we all coaches had to go through, but we were forced to adapt to that. So we had to find ways to, but entertain you, right? Because that's pretty much what we do when it comes to like certain type of gyms, like HIIT classes. I mean, obviously, when it comes down to the fitness world, there's so many things you can do beyond training, right? But if you were just kind of like talking about personal training itself, obviously the goal is not to entertain you, it's to guide you, to help you get stronger and all that. But what happened in the pandemic, it was in a global situation where Barry's Bootcamp, Soul Cycle, all these classes where you go for a unique experience were the ones that probably had to go through a bigger phase of training, right? Because we're like, okay, we want you to come here. You're going to burn 1,000 calories in here. How do you do this now since you can't come in? So I think in terms of like a business perspective there, that was a bigger change. For me, it wasn't really huge because I did personal training. So for me, it's just more like I just have to kind of like guide them where I'm able to see them through the screen as in like, okay, do this, and change it up. So I think that's kind of like the biggest experience or change that I've seen in the fitness industry.
Well, one of the things I love about you that I've seen even pre-pandemic is that you have embraced social media so much. And if you go on @Unleashfit, put that Kodi in the comment section over there. He is literally talking. He does so many stories on Instagram, and it's like your reality show in a lot of ways. You're following you. You're storming down the street. You've got the Princess Leia headset on, dun, 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 and storming through. And we get a slice. So for you, I would imagine you just kind of took a lot of. Do you think that it was beneficial that you had already started this sharing your life a lot and transitioning it to, okay, now we're going to do classes and stuff online and stuff?
Yeah, for me, I think 100%. I was trained already to be comfortable in front of the camera. I think for me, language was always a barrier for me, communication, because obviously English is my second language. But when I had that trouble having a conversation, I would stutter a lot because I would get mixed up with my own language. And
Staten Island.
It's Staten Island. Staten Island. But I think for me as a trainer itself is like, I think the biggest challenge. And having a camera in front of me, I was like, listen, at the end of the day, I don't care who sees it or not. It's only me and myself. So that broke comfortability of being able to speak in the camera with more confidence. So of like doing and all that, it was just easier for me. The only thing that I had an issue with is I was teaching 9 classes to 12 classes a day, but I was doing all those workouts. So I was actually burning out to the point that I almost injured myself very severely on my knee. I was overdoing that. So I think that was the only downside that I kind of like it.
Okay, so it's 2021. It's a brand new year. This is oftentimes when we set our goals. Our LGBTQ community is always, as so many of us, looking at our bodies. And what's some tips that you can share with us, if you have just a couple that you can share?
I'm going to go with the number one. And I think that's because we all learned that lesson. And I actually even made a video out of this, and a New Year's resolution. Right. I think last year was a big lesson for us. We all had a resolution in the beginning, right? We all had goals. We wanted to lose weight, gain weight, travel the world, make money, whatever it was. And then your whole life and New Year's resolution just was like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. Right. And the biggest lesson behind it is that you don't know what's going to happen next. So what I emphasize with clients is think about what you need to do. Find a purpose. I guide my brand. It's 3 major, which is purpose, mindset, and impact. Purpose is pretty much the beginning of you having a thought of what you want, a mission, right? Behind a mission, there's always a purpose. Why do you brush your teeth at this time? Why do you wake up? What is it? You want to survive? What do you have to do to do that? So
why do you jerk off at 4?
Why?
Yeah.
So there's a purpose behind it, right? You just want to walk it off. Like,
I'm horny.
You want to have that
5 o'clock
experience, but the behind that is that you know why you're doing that, right? You have that purpose for that. So if you can kind of like transmit that into a fitness goal, that's what I would do. I would, instead of saying, hey, I'm 6 pounds or 20 pounds in like 2 months, don't think ahead that way. Don't set a over your head, because the thing is that peer pressure, right, over our heads, right, whether it's short or long, right, you're putting yourself into pressure. If I don't reach that goal, I'm going to feel like a failure. I'm going to feel like I didn't do anything. I feel like, you know what, I'm just going to quit stuff. Or if you reach that goal where it's right underneath you, it creates pressure for you because anxiety, stress, right, anything can happen. So instead of just kind of like clearing that ceiling, but having a purpose of what you want to do, now have a limitation on how much you're going to be able to do or lose. But you know that you have a goal, whether it's stronger, lose weight, gain weight, whatever it is. Don't set a goal with a finish line. Let the finish line come to you. So I think
I love that you said that.
Amazing.
I love that you said that. I was listening to, I've had all these crushes over the pandemic on all these YouTube guys. And one of the trainers was saying on there, if your goal is to get a 6-pack in so many days, even when you get it, it's not like, then what? You have to keep the 6-pack and maintain that. And it's a lot more than just doing sit-ups every day for 6 minutes. It's so much. So it has to be an ongoing, and you have to keep reformatting that. Kodi, I know you had a question for Alejandro.
So like many people out there, I am not back in the gym. But I was wondering, and it's cold outside right now, so I was wondering, what can people do in their homes that can actually benefit them so that they can actually reach their fitness goals?
Watching TV. No,
oh God, that's going to be a hard one, Alejandro.
I'm watching porn for you, actually.
Right?
You know what? I think
it's anonymous. Wait, TV is porn, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I do that in the daily. Okay. You know.
Okay.
I think
follow your own advice there. How about that?
I tell people, listen, you got to be transparent. If you're gonna tell me that you don't do certain things, I'm not gonna look at you like you're lying to me. Like, I'm not gonna judge. Tell me, yeah, I watch porn. Like, we are. It's okay. You're not committing a crime. What you're into it, that's you don't have to kind of like go into that with me. But again, just be open with that. But anyway, what I should say is move around, have a purpose of what you want to do. Like, so when I say that, and I keep rephrasing, such a word, it's such a powerful word because I'm move. So you have apps, you have YouTube, Instagram. Do the proper research on like certain type of work. What you want to do. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what is it what you want to do? You want to just move? Do you want to just be active? Do you have equipment with you? Do you have like know your that's something that I had to kind of like understand myself as a trainer, because I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, leave my house, not come back until 8 p.m.
I'm going to bed.
Go straight to bed, right? I would not hang out at home. Like, I didn't work out at home. I didn't do any of those work at home. Like, I didn't. So me staying at home, had to actually get familiarized with my own home. What do I do? What do I move and need to move? I had to move my table. I had to do things. I had to do things. And it's a sacrifice to do that. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you are restrained to do certain things and incapable of doing it, possible. You just got to find a way to do it, right?
That's
if
right.
you have a space where you can actually do this and maybe here or even here, you can move around. You can do some squats. You can do some jump squats. You can do some shoulder taps. You can do a lot of things with that. And I understand that.
Hold on, I gotta write this down. Jump squats and
jump squats.
You said that way too fast.
We're going to promote his online classes in a hot second too, where you can take some of his classes, which he offers. But I have a question as Tuesday fastly approaches and I turn 50. Many of us know, as you've told me before, we lose men testosterone way before 50, actually. But does working out increase our testosterone? And should I be checking with my doctor to get my testosterone levels checked? Because we want to have hot sex at 50 beyond.
Listen, let me tell you something. If you're having hot, steamy, oily, graphically sex at 50, you are healthy AF. You're good.
Wow.
Okay. Because again, very rarely, yes, we do lose testosterone, right? Starting in our 30s, early 30s, not by a long shot. Like we're not decreasing a lot, probably like about 10% the years and all that. And the thing is, for us men, we need to move around. We need to be able to move in order to create testosterone, right? Obviously, our body's going to consistently create testosterone as we get older, but if we are not active, yes, I think you're diminishing the production of testosterone a lot more. Now, the best way I can say is, yes, not sexually active at 50. Yes, consult with your doctor. I think something that check your test, testosterone tests. Most of the doctors will kind of like prescribe you some testosterone shots. And again, I don't advise anything about that, but it does happen that if you are in your 50s, and I've seen this with a couple of clients in their 40s and 50s, they are prescribed testosterone, and actually it affect that they feel better, they're more active, they're more sexually active, energy, muscle growth, muscle balance, and it is healthy to take those supplements as you get older because your body requires it. Like your body does need. You're not 20 forever. So you got to understand that. But if you're prescribed testosterone and you're 22, we have an issue. What are you doing? So yes, I think for you, advice, don't even go to the doctor. Peace, I'm out.
Hey, I love it. All right. Well, let us know how we can follow you. Do you have another question?
I have one more question, and it's the most important question. So I heard Steve, a little birdie, told me that you were into comic books, right? So who are body goals as far as your superhero body is concerned?
Actually, before you answer that, Kodi is a huge superhero fan.
A huge superhero.
I'm a huge. Okay, so wait, what was the question again?
The body goals as far as superheroes are concerned.
Ooh.
Like who? But for him, like who? What superhero do you strive to look like?
Yes.
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be like Batman. Just because in terms of, for me,
Kodi wanted to be Wonder Woman. So.
Still do.
I mean, I wanted
Power
her.
Girl.
I wanted her, sure.
Wonder Twin.
Yeah. That a great real short with this one.
All right.
And this is the thing with like obviously comic books. Obviously, we draw or like authors exaggerate the body mass of
100%
characters a lot, right? And okay, like kids will perceive that and grow and be like, oh, I'm gonna be like Batman, Superman, kind of like go for that physique. There's nothing wrong with that, but I also think that you should be building your own shadow. I say, right? So like first version of yourself. I think you are a superhero. Every single one of you guys, you, Kodi, you listen. On.
I'm Wonder Man. I'm
whatever
Wonder Man,
you want to call yourself. Be your own superhero, right? And create your own imagination. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of like help you. Yes, motivate characters. You're going to be motivated to kind of like maybe get it to their level, but you're always going to be against yourself all the time. And I think that's the way you want to see it. As I grew older, I understood that. I was like, I'm never going to be, I barely have $2 in me. Like, I'm never going to be like that. So I was like, my dreams were that, but still called realism. And I know it, but sometimes it hits us really hard. So just build your own shadow.
I love that advice so much that I'm so surprised it came from you. I love that though, like, because we can all create our own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so fun about finding what's unique about you. And if you notice something, you two that are into superheroes, so many of the superheroes these days are like dark superheroes or have other traits that the anti-hero type thing. And I think, to your point, that's really good advice. It's really pulling out what's unique about you.
Yeah, and you get to enjoy comic books, but you know, in that like you follow that. And listen, and it goes also beyond that, right? Beyond that, because I get that a lot from clients. It's like, I want to look like this character. Evans, Chris Hemsworth. I'm like, okay, is that what you always do? Are you getting paid millions? Because yes, if that's the case, I'll get you there right away. Be about your,
Yeah, I used to want to look like an anime character for so long. You know, those Japanese anime characters.
Like Goku?
I don't even know. They just all like from Pikachu and all that world.
Oh, you wanted to look like Pikachu.
And I used to straighten my hair out. I would straighten my hair out to look like them. And I was like trying to really be one. And it was like, okay, you're not an anime character.
It's
so
unsustainable, basically.
Unsustainable. Yeah.
I had blue hair. I mean, it was fabulous at the moment.
Yeah.
But
I love it.
I'll start calling you Pikachu.
Alejandro Terrazas, how do we follow you? At Unleashfit, obviously.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
At Unleashfit, I'm always available for anybody questions. And don't to ask me questions, anything about it in terms of fitness. Yes, I'm there to help you. I put content in terms of I've been doing a lot of bells, and I you don't know anything about bells. And again, started a 12-week program. Obviously, if you don't have them, just reach out to me. But I'm here to help you out, guys. That's all I want to do.
Cool. I'm going to hit you up about some dumbbell workouts.
Go ahead. I'm all. Everybody gets a free session on me.
Oh, nice.
I love it. Thank you, Alex, so much. All jokes aside, so much fun. And I love training with you and changing my goals. We will talk soon.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. We'll list everything on TAGSPodcast.com.
Okay.
So I appreciate
I'm gonna
it.
go.
Thank you.
Jersey Shore, one of my favorite shows.
Okay. Aren't you in this current season?
I
I
I watch TV like once a year, so I'm okay.
Oh, but we're not allowed to. Okay. No. All right. I see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now go away.
Thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love it.
So
Blake, I saw your comment, and it's a new year. Thank you for joining our Patreon community, and we're gearing up with some new perks that you're going to benefit, Blake, and so many others, of not only the after show, but some swag that we're designing with our new logo, and a lot of other things. That's some behind the scenes stuff. So it's really going to be it's over at our Tags Podcast Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex. And it all starts in the next week or so. So I really appreciate it. And an after show is coming your way. Kodi and I are on it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
stay
tuned for next Tuesday's my 50th broadcast of some of my favorite people, including Kodi, who roasts me and had a little bit too much fun with it. So that comes out.
Can't wait for you guys to hear.
Yes, exactly. Kodi Maurice Doggette. Again, we can follow you at Mr. Maurice on Instagram. That's MISTAH.
MAURICE. Yes. And at KMD Coaching. So both.
We'll list that on Tags Podcast. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of Tags Live. We love doing this show because it's where we get to interact with you. We are off next week for my birthday, but we're going to be doing some behind the scenes stuff. And then we're back after that, going strong the rest of the year. But brand new episode next Tuesday. Thank you. Continue wearing your mask. Wash your hands. Keep your social distance, but keep it sexy.